Okay, now we're back with the rectifier disc. You move the blade of a small flat-bladed screwdriver underneath the tab here on the speed nut and just lift that off. Then, this is the business end, the coated end is the business end of the rectifier disc. So let's just leave that there for now. If we were going to do a diode, we would get rid of the spacers and everything, and we would make a connection between this brass arm right here and the plate. But we're not going to do that with this one. We're simply going to take our rectifier disc and I had scissors right here. Let's take the rectifier disc out and make sure that you use the coated end of the disc against the plate. Otherwise, it is not going to work. So, coated end goes against the plate right there. And then throw the trash away, throw the old rectifier disc away, and then we simply take the speed nut and put it back on. And guess what? You're done. That's all there is to it. It's easy. And now you have a beautiful rectifier disc on here that's going to stay there for, let's hope, another 60 years or so, and we will test this to see how well it whistles. Okay, now other than replacing the circuit breaker, we look pretty good here. Let's see how these things moved, whether they break. You know, they're scraping against each other. So what we might want to do is to avoid that by making a slight bend in this. We want to keep these two things free to move freely, and they can't do that. So this guy has to bend down a little bit more right here, I think. Somebody was playing with this a little bit too much. And bend this up a bit. All right, that goes fine. This has some problems with it. I'm going to take this plate off and take a look and see why this is not moving freely. You can see it really doesn't move easily. So something is over tightened here. So I'm going to go off camera, loosen these 4 screws and see what the matter is underneath there and get back to you. Okay. We now have removed the 4 screws, and let's see what we're dealing with underneath here. There's the plate off. And this is the fella that seems to be moving kind of stiffly. This seems to be perfectly fine. Well, let's put him back. I'm going to clean this up with a little bit of CRC and see how that stands us, okay? CRC is a wonderful solvent that does not interfere with your electricals, but can get some gunk off here. And then let's just put this right back on where it was. And then the plate goes right back on. Now this goes under there, so now we have to put the 4 screws in. opposites all the time, opposites. And that's got to be held under tension to get the plate on. Two. That's on, and then let's do the last one here. Okay, the plate is on. Now let's tighten up these screws and see what we're left with here. There was nothing apparent. I'm going to tighten up mostly, and then once I feel everything is right, then I'll just tighten it up a little bit more and hope that I don't over tighten and cause a problem, but we'll test as we go along. There we go. So let's see here. Yeah, it turns better. No resistance. Okay, that's good. So we can tighten them up a little bit more. That's that. You're in. That's that. And that's that. So you're seeing a little bit deeper into the interstices of this wonderful little machine. Okay, that takes care of these repairs. So what have we done so far? We put in a new power cord. We put in new rollers, and we put in a new rectifier disc. In order to put a new circuit breaker in, it's just a two-terminal wire connection that you can just solder on with this wire and also the wire that goes from C up to the other terminal up here. So that's all there is to that. So we're going to put the thing back together, but first we're going to do some cleaning of the machine, and what I like to use is some baking soda and vinegar, because it cannot possibly destroy any of the finish of things, and gets things clean, and a toothbrush. A good old used toothbrush that you're not going to use anymore. It's not great for your teeth now, but it's great for scrubbing into the small little places on the Bakelite case. So we're going to go off camera, and we're going to clean up the Bakelite case and come back, and we're also going to clean up these with some metal polish, and also the ferrule on the Bakelite case, which is this thing where the light bulb goes in. There's only two little tabs that connect inside. We just straighten out those two tabs so we can take this ferrule out and shine that up a little bit. And then we'll clean up the Bakelite case and the base, and then come back, and then we'll put the core in. Then we will put the wires connected back to the operating platform, and then we will put this down and seal it on, and then connect all the other wires to the sides, and then see what we've got. Okay, we'll be back after some cleaning. Well, the Bakelite case shined up nicely, and ordinarily if it doesn't get back to a nice sheen, I might put a little spritz of furniture polish on it, like Behold or whatever. And the ferrule shined up nice. We can put the ferrule back into place. Then we'll bend the tabs where they belong. Wait a minute. I'm going to bend this out. And also the reversing buttons shined up well. So far we're standing in good stead. Let's put these back so they're not bent. They can slide back easily into their position right here. And then we just need the flat blade of a screwdriver. Probably a bigger screwdriver has more oomph to it. And just push these down inside. That's all there is to it, just pushing them down so that they are locked into place. Of course, you have to push them for the underside to make sure that the tab is in, which I did not do. There, that's in place. And then what's going to happen, this is not going to come out now. I have a nice red jewel to put on here, which is there for the short circuit light. So we can put this aside for now. Let's get the rest of the machine put back together again. We should be in good shape here. This is annoying to get it back into place. So I'm not going to show you wrestling with that. But we'll come back in a minute to show you some progress so that you know how to do it yourself. All right, here is the way you orient the core. Look at the back plate is what helps you figure out which way you're going to go. So now you can see that the A side is over here on the port side of the unit, and the B side is on the starboard side of the unit. That should make it as clear as mud for you. And this is just going to take a lot of inching and massaging to get it into place, because it really has very, very tight tolerances. And it's really annoying to try to get this back together. But this is the principle that we're using here. Get this out of the way. Get that out of the way. This goes underneath and comes up. Come on, get out of the way. Go away. We'll see you later. You're not going in there. So this is supposed to slide in there and come down. Here, let me wrestle with this for a bit and come back to you when I have it in place. Okay, we wrestled this back. It took some coaxing to move these brackets apart when they didn't want to, but this is in place finally. And the clearances are very tight on purpose so that this thing doesn't budge when it's in service. So now what we have to do is we have to put the service platform back on. We're going to connect the wires and solder them together in the reverse order that we did them. And once we have soldered the wires back, then we'll come back to you and we'll show you how you put the whole thing back together again. And we're going to have some new controls, because the old ones were all messed up and we could not have handles fitted on them, so we're going to put new ones on. And it should look pretty good by the time we get it done. All right, we'll be back when the soldering is done. It's just plain soldering in the reverse order that we did before. So there's no big mystery to that. Okay, I have soldered all the wires back where they started. And now it's time to put this thing back together again. And let's find the long nose pliers, and we're going to twist that like that. We're going to twist this like this so that the platform does not pop out. It goes that way, and this goes this way. So now it's locked into place. Now we can reassemble it. Okay, so we have the two nicely polished up reversing buttons and their springs. We have the lamp. Let's put the lamp back in now that we have. All right, let's pull you down. Bring that wire from there. That's a bayonet lamp that goes in there. Before we put any buttons in, we have to put in the washers and the pins for the reversing buttons. Put the spring in the top and leave that there, and put the other spring in the top and leave that there. And then now we're going to take our newly cleaned case, Bakelite case, and fit it on. But before it can set, we have to get the back plate engaged as well, which takes a little bit of doing, and that's not engaged at all. So let's move this fella into the slides. There's little recesses in the case for the back plate, because that is important. It's not going to fit unless that's in. Aha! Amazing how it all comes together, eh? So, the back plate is in perfect shape with our nice brand new spanking new cord. We've got the case is lined up. Let's get the screws. The screws have a little bit of a rust on the top of them. What I'll probably do over time is, when I get a moment, is to just take a Dremel tool with some sandpaper and just knock off that surface rust, because it's not doing any harm. So, now I need a screwdriver. Wait a minute. What did I do wrong, ladies and gentlemen? I know what I did wrong. I did not put in the bracket straps for the core. And I was going to just leave that alone. No sirree, Bob. We're not going to do that. So let's take this back off. The job's not done till it's done right. And take these off. Take this off again. And I'm sorry, but the bracket straps have to go on. And they go on right here. And let's get them on nicely, and they'll fit right in. Let's bend this up a little bit. Quite frankly, I don't think that this thing is going to travel at all. But let's see if we can. There we go. There's one. And let's get the other one in. There's the other one. There we go. All right. Now we can replace our Bakelite case and go back to resetting our back plate. Uh-oh. I think we messed up here. You stay put, Madron. Alrighty, you are okay. And then you have to be in place in your slide. There. More better. Alrighty, screws go back in. 1, 2, 3. We're not going to tighten them all the way. We're going to get all 4 of them seated well, and then we can tighten them up so that we don't lock in unnecessary stresses into the machine. Okay, that's good. Now we can tighten them up. Always tighten opposites. Very good. Do not over tighten. When it feels snug, stop. Okay, that's on. So let's put on our new jewel for, there you go. Now we have a little bit more to do. We need a whistle lever, and happen to just have one right here. And we'll press you down. Let's get that. There you go. So you're in good shape there. Now we need to put on the A that goes down below. Then we put the separator here. And then this is pretty darn good. There we go. That metal band was getting in the way. So now it just sat right down beautifully. Now we've got to do the A side and the B side. This looks really great down here. All right, here's the A. You just happen to have an A button and a B button and two handles. Now I should have probably put them on beforehand, but it's 6 1/2 dozen in the other. These can just snap into place. A little bit of encouragement. There, that's in. If you don't want to loose it, you can always put a little bit of silicone cement in it, and it will come out really nicely. So, just a tiny little dab of silicone. To form a bond, and that goes in there like that. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, now that I have the two knobs taken care of, the A one goes in the A side. It just gets forced down a little bit, and the B one goes on the B side. And this just gets forced down a little bit. And now, there's only one thing that's missing. What do you think that might be? We can't reuse this. That's riveted in and a little bit disreputable looking. But we just happen to have a replacement. It's an aftermarket replacement. That can just go right up on the top. And let's get the paper off. Now this is adhered on to it. It is not glued on. I'm going to make the L come down this way. So it just fits right in there, and just hold it down. We are in business. So here we have a beautiful KW Transformer. Now the proof is in the pudding. We've got new handles. We've got a new whistle lever. We've shined up the directional buttons. We've got a new jewel. We shined up everything on the case, and now we've got a new cord. We've got a new whistle disc, rectifier disc. Let's hook this baby up and see whether it makes a train run and makes a whistle. So let me set up the track with some alligator clips and I'll be right back. Okay, now the proof is in the pudding. We've got some alligator clips hooked up to a little test track. I've got an old post-war whistle tender here that I know works. Let's turn up the juice on the A side. That's a great whistle right there. And then let's go on over to the B side and see how well that works. Great, all right. That takes care of the whistle tender. Now let's see how things work with a 2026 locomotive. Let's set you up there and get you on the track. And let's pretty darn good. That's on forward. Okay, now let's move it back over onto the A side. That's reverse. What do you know? We have an absolutely perfectly functioning KW. That was a complete wreck before. Thank you, 2026. You did a fine job. This thing should be fine for the next 60, 70 years or so. It looks like $1 million. And I hope you enjoyed the videos. And if you have one of these old things that doesn't work, before you start either spending a ton of money on repairs, which really are not financially worth it, or just pitching the beautiful little machine, give it a try. You've got everything to gain and nothing to lose by trying. One thing I'll leave you with, if you think that you'd like to have this shine a little bit more, I think that the patina of age on it is wonderful. But if you want to shine it up a little bit more, you can always throw a little bit of furniture polish on it and it'll look great. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the videos. This is now a restored KW Transformer ready for service. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.